Welcome, everyone, to a Pac-12 chat. I'm Andy Katz, pleased to be joined by Stanford head coach Jerod Haase. Coming off a sweep of the Oregon schools, got a non-conference game this week against Chicago State, and then Cal, the big rivalry game. Jerod, this was the consistency I know you guys have been looking for with these two wins over Oregon State and Oregon. What stood out to you that hopefully you can build off for the rest of the season?
Well, a lot of positives. I think on the defensive end, we've been a little bit more consistent with trying to be, live to our identity, that we've talked about, and trying to keep the ball out of the paint, but yet also challenge threes at a high level. Rebounding needs to be something that we're pretty good at. We do have good size, and I think we generally did those things. But and then on the offensive end, I thought we shared the ball, kept the ball moving, lower turnover games for us. And generally when that happens, good things happen. And the reality is everything looks better when you start making a couple shots. And we have some guys that are starting to make some shots, which helps as well.
And also, I mean, it feels like, certainly at home, you guys played better than maybe you had in the past. What was it about, being in a comfortable environment that now hopefully you can build on for the rest of the home season as well?
Yeah, I love the way we started the games. I thought we came out with a great deal of purpose with what we were doing on both ends. The guys really have embraced, everything from the scouting report, but maybe more important than anything, kind of really digging into our core values. And, one of those is selfless, and we talk about turning out and not worrying about yourself, but worrying about your teammate. Make sure you're pointing to the passer after you make a shot, as opposed to think about yourself, making sure our huddles are tight, making sure our communication is effective. But that's been a big emphasis, and I think it's resonated with the guys.
We've seen in the league this season that despite maybe UCLA's overall record in the league, it's really competitive, and there've been a lot of late possession games. And it definitely feels like, obviously there was a stretch where it looked like Cal, was really strong, and then they win some. And that we're now in the heart of the Pac-12, that every given night, the result could be different. How much are you sensing that as we get into the middle of the season here with the stretch run of the Pac-12, that, every game is certainly winnable, but it's also losable?
Yeah, no doubt. You have to come in with an understanding that you're going to have to play at your best. And if you do so, you might have a chance. And, that's kind of our mantra. We have a stated goal that we're trying to maximize our potential this year. And to do that, we need to make sure we address every practice in a certain way, and then the games as well. But that you're just continuing to get a little bit better. And I think for the most part, we've done that. We've obviously had some struggles, but we think we're trending in the right direction. And with a focus like you're talking about, that when you go out there, you're going to have a chance that game. You're going to have to perform well.
When you say about maxing the potential, what did you hope and anticipate that potential could be?
Well, we don't know yet. We don't know yet. I think we saw some signs this week of what it looks like on the court, where we're efficient offensively, we're efficient defensively, and that translates to wins. But there's still a lot of games to be played and a lot left in this season. So what it exactly translates to, we're going to find out.
Jared, the other thing too is, and look, I'm on the outside, but I think back to Oregon State a couple of years ago, and I feel like this league is even more balanced in terms of parity, that when we all get to, when you get to Vegas, that every team should and could feel like they can win, whether it's 3 or 4 games, to get that bid. We saw it happen just a couple of years ago, during the bubble situation, but still Oregon State was able to pull it off. So why not anyone else if you're not, one of those top couple of seeds? How much do you think that's what potentially could play out when we get there in March?
No, I think you're spot on. Once we get to that point, there's going to be optimism from all the teams that you can do something like that. But the reality is, what we're doing right now is trying to focus on today, that we won't have that chance if we haven't maximized our potential, if we're not playing our best basketball. And for us to do that, and then in March, we have to be able to make strides now to get better. And I think our guys have really embraced that idea.
One last thing, Jerod, how much are you feeling like, you're finding, obviously the rotation's been settled, but more like sort of, when we need a bucket, when we need a play, like things have started to crystallize a little bit more now?
Yeah, I think all of it the rotation's getting a little bit smaller. Guys are understanding their roles a little bit better. The marquee guys are starting to play like marquee guys and all those things, time and score situations. We understand, who we want the ball to have the ball, who's making plays, who's the ones that we want to have making the shots. And I think all of that as our identity continues to develop. I think that's going to become clearer and clearer, which is a good thing for our team.
Hey, one last thing while I have you, you've been there now for a while. What has the rivalry game meant to you? Those 2 times a year when you guys play Cal?
It's a big deal, and it's, I've been a part of a lot of different universities and some big time rivals. And this is the definition of something that's really important to both universities, both fan bases. And I guess most importantly, our group and inside our locker room. And so the first game didn't go the way we wanted. And there's going to be a great deal of motivation, understanding this is a true rivalry game.
Yeah, there's no question. You've been a part where it's K-State, Kansas, Carolina, Duke. The value of these rivalries that go beyond the players that are there at that time, certainly for the alums and the administrations, everything. Hey, Jerod, glad to see Stanford playing better right now on a little bit of a win streak. Appreciate your time.